It's finally all come down to this, a chance for a walk-off win to lock their team into the playoffs. 15 drivers are in a win and you are in scenario, which means there is nearly a 40% chance that we see another first-time winner lock themselves into the playoffs as we go to a track that even Cody Ware could win at. And speaking of Cody, just keep in mind that he and LaJoie are both outside the top 30, so if they were to win on Sunday, they wouldn't have too much ground to realistically cover to qualify for the playoffs, so it's just impossible for them to make playoffs at this point. I want to take a look at these 15 drivers that will no doubt be driving the rubber off their steering wheels on Sunday. I'm going to go down my personal rankings of each driver's chances to win and give you my opinion on who I think has the best chance to take it home for the last playoff spot of the year. Starting off at number 15, we're starting up with poor Ty Dillon. I've heard enough slander about this dude. I hope nothing but the best for him, and this Sunday may literally be his last shot at NASCAR glory. Honestly, him winning is not as far-fetched as people want to say. Ty has 6 top 10s at Daytona, all in underfunded equipment, and is coming off of an 11th place finish in this past 500. But, to be quite frank, luck has not been on his side his entire career, really, especially not this year. And I think that's what he's going to need to be able to pull this off on Sunday. At 14, I've got Erik Albraola, who, for whatever reason, is deciding to come back next year, and this is his chance at pulling off another spoiler win for the second year in a row to get into the playoffs, and no doubt, he can get it done, and honestly, this would be an Almirola-fashioned win. But I think this race is going to be too chaotic and too, for a lack of a better term, like balls to the walls for the mild-mannered Almirola not to get wrecked on the last lap if he finds himself near the front at the end. Cole Custer is at 13, and he has been one of the most forgettable drivers all year long, and he has a small chance to make his first splash since his just complete out-of-his-butt Kentucky win 2 years ago. But to be honest, Custer has never really found a lot of success at restrictor plate racing, and the only reason I have him ahead of Almirola is I think Custer would be more desperate for the win. Todd Gilliland has really impressed me this year and has shown the most talent in that 38 car since John Hunter Nemechek. And I think he's going to be a factor at some point in this race on Sunday, but I don't feel confident that it's necessarily his time to shine yet. At number 11, we've got Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who is a proven super speedway talent. He's going to make some noise at some point in this race. I just question whether it'll be good or bad noise. Just like how I believe Almirola will be not aggressive enough to pull off a win, I think Ricky will be too aggressive. He always just seems to find himself at the front, but finds a way to ruin it and get caught up in a wreck before the race is over. It's just kind of what I have a feeling is going to happen once again on Sunday. At 10, I have Justin Haley, who is a good super speedway racer, but I think he's slightly overhyped as a super speedway racer. He has good stats in Xfinity and has the one Daytona win in Cup that we all know came due to rain shortage, but he also had a lot of help in Xfinity from teammates and great strategy that Colleague always used at super speedways. I don't think we're going to see him be a major factor on Sunday, but I also didn't feel right about completely ignoring his chances. I think that he will have a shot, I just don't see him as a super strong contender. At 9, I've got Austin Dillon, who has had a quietly decent year. Nothing like his teammate Tyler Reddick, but solid nonetheless. And the thing is, despite him being a past Daytona 500 champion, he hasn't really shown me the consistency on super speedways the last couple of years to believe he's going to be a guy to beat, but he'll probably definitely at least be a guy kind of running in contention near the end if he doesn't get caught up in a wreck. At 8, I've got Harrison Burton, who is pretty solid at Daytona whenever you go back and look at his Xfinity stats, and he has the Penske power under the hood now. All the Penske cars work well together. They always run well at super speedways. They work well together until the last lap. I should say. And he'll probably be in contention near the end of it if he makes it through wrecks this time. The only thing I'm unsure of is if he has just that vigor, that fortitude, that experience right now in this point in his career to make a winning pass or block with all those other ravenous dogs gunning for it at the end of the race. At 7, I've got Chris Buescher, who really isn't known for his super speedway prowess, but he's coming off of a Daytona dual win earlier this year and has been on a pretty solid streak as of late. I think he's got as good a chance as anyone to pull off a walk-off win. At 6, I know I might get some crap for having Martin Truex Jr. this low, out of the top 5 even, but he's just not the best super speedway racer. That still seems to just be his kryptonite in NASCAR. He's had some horrible cars prepped for him the last few weeks, and I just don't know if him and his team are going to be able to clutch it up this weekend. Although, to be very fair, if anyone I have my doubts in, he's the one I have the most confidence in, if that makes any sense at all. Cracking into the top 5, I've got Michael McDowell, who has had a great year, especially for his standards, and honestly is being pretty favorably considered heading into Daytona. A former winner, and these cars, the Front Row Motorsports cars, have finally seemed to found some speed. If he can find another Ford to pair up with, maybe his teammate Todd Dillon, he might end up being the car to beat on Sunday, honestly. At 4, I've got Brad Keselowski, and listen, we should all know what his ability to win at super speedway races is, and his chances on Sunday should not be slept on. I would not consider it a shocker in the slightest if Keselowski finds a way to win on Sunday. Daytona was the only race this year I felt he had a car capable of winning, but he's got to keep a handle on his aggression. I think that has been his biggest crutch all year long, is whenever he's had a car that has a chance to have good runs, he just gets too aggressive, outdrives his equipment. I hope by now he's figured out he's not driving Penske cars anymore. Hopefully he can keep it in check and keep his car near the front when it's time to go for the checkered flag. At 3, I've got Ryan Blaney, who in my opinion is the best restrictor plate driver in the Cup Series. That's probably the only reason I have him this high, because just like with Martin Truex, his team has been choking horribly here as of late. But it's really rare, and you really got to be trying hard to mess up a setup for Blaney at a super speedway. I think that if Jonathan Hassler just puts a decent car under him, if Cindric and Logano help him out, if Penske makes him somewhat of a priority on Sunday, he could be near impossible to beat. At number 2, I've got Bubba Wallace, who, as of late, is fast at every kind of track we go to outside of road courses, even though, let's not forget, he got the top 5 at Indy. You take the fact that he's been fast and extremely consistent as of late, and pair that with the fact that he has always, since he entered the Cup Series, been a factor at super speedways, and we might have the guy that should be the overwhelming favorite. I think there's no doubt he'll be a factor. It'll just be a matter of if it'll be on the last lap or not. And who I've got as the number 1 guy I think that's going to go in the Daytona and walk-off win is Erik Jones, who is very good at Daytona, and of all the guys who haven't won this year, I say he's been the 3rd best, like behind Blaney and Truex. He's got to avoid the calamity, which has been very hard for him this year. I feel like anytime he's had a good car, he has somehow found a way to get into the infield or into the wall. But I'm going to call this a bit of a gut feeling. We'll see if that comes back to bite me or if I'm onto something here. But what do you guys think? Who do you think points their way into the playoffs on Sunday? Tell me what you think in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I hope y'all have a great day.